Surface operations. Me, I know there's something going on in Switzerland. I channeled Saran on this the other night. I had found a video, not by coincidence at all, that described how fortified the dumps in Switzerland were. The Swiss had done this to retain neutrality during the World Wars, so the Illuminati are taking advantage of that now and hiding there. Ashtar, they are there, but other underground bases have been created in the same vein. They realize the extent of the light's technology and have worked hard to create fortresses that keep us out. Me, yes. When we were astral traveling to the bases, my lower frequency could get us into the base. I raised my frequency in the base after I got in, making it penetrable to the light fleets. Then the party started. LOL. Ashtar, this was brilliant, Sharon. Me, it was unintended. I was trying to get Ivo to finish at Area 51 so that he could be with me again in my house. Ashtar, nonetheless a good find. Earthlings can get in their bases but the light forces can't. So when Earthlings astral travel to bases, they get in easily and raise their frequency for our ingress. Me, Cobra recently reported this about the vaccines, since the resistance has destroyed in spring of this year all advanced biochips that were meant to be put into the COVID vaccine. Now DARPA is developing a cruder version of vaccine biochips. The dark forces are also working on spreadable bioweapon vaccine. Ashtar, in the case of these, the light forces will intervene. As was done with the coronavirus, and COVID virus, which turned out to be far less lethal than was intended. We interfered with this. And we will continue to do so in order to ensure that no unnecessary harm will come to those on the planet. Me, will there be a global lockdown in October? Ashtar, there are areas going back into lockdown, which appears to be unreasonable to the public. We continue to use these lockdowns in order to forward our Gesara agenda, to remove the cabal, to remove negative ETS and to forward our QFS and monetary system into all of your fiat outlets. Still there are people being removed from underground dumps in many locations who are continuing to be treated by us. If you'll notice, the areas hardest hit by the virus include major financial centers. Me, yes, like Toronto is going into lockdown again this month. We haven't experienced it yet here in the East, but we're not a major financial center. Ashtar, Sharon, Canada is going to be switched to the QFS. That is why you'll be getting your project money in January. Me, how do you expect Trudeau to work alongside this though? He's as phony as a $3 bill. Ashtar, there are others who are really in charge of these matters. Consider your governments to be split between the light and the dark. Both are tolerating each other, both are forwarding their own agendas. Trudeau does not have absolute control over Canada, neither do the Chinese. There are other players who are unknown to the public. Me, thank God. Emergency broadcast system. Ashtar, with the advancement of censorship, it is necessary to have a separate system set up so that the POTUS can address the people. The POTUS must always be able to speak to the American people, but now the corruption is so severe that they are interfering with his messages and with those who pass them on. So another system had to be devised. This was the solution. Me, so this is all coming about because they're tampering with the election, trying to swing the vote. Ashtar, yes, it won't happen. Me, I'm wondering if they'll censor him. Ashtar, they already are. Me, I mean, cut him off altogether. Ashtar, so then he has a backup system. Me, everything is starting to make sense now. All this stuff we heard of years ago, and now that it's happening it seems like the most reasonable thing to do. Ashtar, they knew who he was up against. Protesting. Ashtar, the deep state knows how to use you, how to play with your reactions. When riots broke out, they initiated BLM and Antifa and starting razing the cities. Now with all the protests going on, they simply allow people to be distracted. Me, is it such a distraction, though, or are they spreading information? Ashtar, the best way to spread information is over the internet. If there was no internet, this war would have looked entirely different. Mouth-to-mouth information gathering is good, but nothing is as quick and easy as electronic transfer of information. Whoever rules the internet and the television has an advantage, were it not for the determination of the light. Me, as for what's to come after the election, I'm expecting a lot of anger on the part of the deep state. They'll be at their diabolical worst. People think this is going to end this year, but it isn't. Ashtar, no, it's up to all to end it. The people have to end this, not the politicians. It's up to you to open your minds to the truth and embrace the truth. That's the solution. For all. Me, I'm seeing a lot of pundits outlining what they think will happen. This again, was another peak time it was all to come down, and to date, this hasn't happened. I'm getting tired of these people predicting that this is going to happen and that's going to happen. This month was Red October, where there would be 10 days of darkness. Anyone who wants to see 10 days of darkness come up to Canada any October, November, or December, never mind January and February, and you'll get all the dark you want. I really think some people are romanticizing all of this. Ashtar, everything is happening one thing at a time. If the deep state goes into overdrive and plays all their cards at once, perhaps pulling off something diabolical, then the White Hats will respond with ordinances they have in store for emergencies. It is move/counter move. No more, no less. The White Hats have been moving their agenda forward to check the moves of the deep state. All is for the revealing right now. No emergency broadcast system will be used unless the deep state pulls the plug on the internet. That is Trump's main method of communication with the public. He requires this so he does have the emergency system as a backup. Eventually, as we discussed, the mainstream media will be split into cabal-owned and run and other. This will occur when it is logical to have it happen. It has to do with when the majority allows it and will support the changes. We are having trouble implementing the St. Germain funds because of the suspicion of socialist/communist takeover. As I said, Earth people don't want to be dependent on their governments, so they'd rather work, not realizing they already are dependent on their governments. This is the hold-up with the St. Germain funds. Obviously, when continued lockdowns shut down people's income streams, then this is the time to release the funds. Me, so you're expecting more lockdowns for all countries between now and January. Ashtar, you'll be getting your project funding in January, love, not your St. Germain funds. These are still scheduled for between now and the end of next year. That's what we anticipate. What Earth people have to start to embrace is the idea of humanitarianism, and I'm sure that it's difficult for so many considering what they've been through, but this is the reason for the funding. It may be necessary to wait until announcements where the monies stolen by the Illuminati and their repayment to the people will be announced. This is a logical process. A return to constitutional law for the U.S. With constitutional law, all of the dark hats can be arrested and tried for the highest crimes known to you on Earth. And the focus of it all is to allow you all to learn the truth of your world. Me, I'm seeing it's the 19th and there was a big prediction about the 10 days of darkness, and to the best of my knowledge, it hasn't happened. The announce got censored off of social media, but the New York Times came out with a whopper story anyway. You can't suppress this. However, now one candidate will be made invalid because of his crimes. Ashtar, the truth will come out. If he is allowed to continue to run, then the people need to see this. Why is a criminal allowed to run for president? Me, yeah, ripping the lid off that one will be fun. I'd get the popcorn for that. Like Tricky Dicky was an honest guy. He even looked shifty. He had that energy. Ashtar, your people must know. And they will find out. So far, it is move/counter move. We hope it stays that way. Me, thank you Ashtar. Ashtar, Adonai.